Good morning. Good morning. Can you just have a sound check to see if you can hear me?
Good morning, Luca.
Hi. Good morning, Abby. Okay. Let's wait for a few more people to come in, and then we'll start. We'll start the session. Okay. Now, anybody, as Jaya normally does the co-hosting, anybody would like to volunteer for co-hosting? You just need to basically to let people in. So it's very simple. When you see people that are waiting in the waiting room, you just have to admit them.
Luke, I can happy to do that.
Okay.
Hopefully that's within my ability.
Okay, done. You should be co-host now.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
can you see that?
Yeah, it's fine, thanks.
Fantastic. Okay, all right, guys. Today is going to be a slightly shorter session because I have a doctor's appointment at 9 o'clock, so we finish on time at 20:22. Okay, so let me go straight into what we're talking about today, which is a mix of macroeconomics and crypto-related news. Now, there's quite a lot that is going on at the moment. And without going into too much into price discussion, let's talk about the the items that are interesting. Obviously, you have heard about there are two very kind of like important news generally in the macroeconomic picture this week. One was yesterday announcement by the in the UK. Or the official bank rate, then following what's happening everywhere else in the world, was raised by 0.5%, 50 basis points, and also, but what was more discussed apart from that was kind of the outlook for the next few months. So the Bank of England is aggressively basically fighting inflation. They expect inflation to go up to about 13%. In the near future, and so they haven't just raised the interest rates, but there is possibly more interest rates to come in the next months, and probably kind of like at a faster pace than they happen so far. So in a way, this is almost kind of like guarantee that the UK would also start going into a recession. As the US has already technically announced earlier on. So this is at the moment kind of like we're seeing this kind of like a juggling act, because what is really happening is that all the money that's been printed during the pandemic is now making its way into the economy, and obviously that is a lot of money printing means inflationary pressure, and the only way generally that the government could deal with that is increasing the speed of the growth in the economy, or raise interest rates. But the two things work against each other, because you raising interest rates increase the cost to everybody. It means cost to consumers, cost to companies, so less money available to spend. So in a way, we transferring spending power from the individuals and the company. So the individual represents the consumer, let's say the people that buy the consumer goods. Companies represents the organization that buy the capital goods, and we transferring this purchasing power that normally, obviously, market goes to wherever is needed the most, because obviously this is what people need. We transfer that power to the government to decide, how they think is best to spend that money. Okay, so this is what is, in simple terms, what is going on right now. But the kind of the tools that they have to do this, they are very crude, and especially in a situation like this that hasn't really happened before, of having kind of like a economy slowing down and going into a recession at the same time, combined with high inflation. you see how difficult it is to to balance the two aspects. And the other big announcement that we are waiting today, that they probably are going to move the markets as generally do, especially if the announcement is different from what is expected, is what is called as the non-farm payroll or non-farm employment change, however you want to call it. This is announced every month, once a month, and it is a number that moves the market, both the stock market, the foreign exchange market, and so on. So in kind of like you can see that it is expected to decline compared to previously, and the important thing is that what the actual number is. If the actual number is higher than the forecast, then it would be kind of like good news for the economy. If it is a lower number, it would be kind of like bad news, and that would have a negative repercussion. Here is the time. So if you want to, just out of curiosity, if you want to check, what effect this has on the market, this is going to be announced at this is 1:30 p.m. UK. And by the way, this is a Forex Factory. Is one of the sites where you can get an economic calendar, and you can adjust this with your the time of wherever you are, and will give you all these announcements in your local time. So it would be a good exercise for you to check at 1:30 p.m. and have a look of maybe a few windows open on your computer with a few different markets, kind of like share markets, Forex market, crypto market, and see what effect this announcement has on the markets, especially, obviously if the announcement is close to 250, the effect would be not great, but any divergence, significant divergence from that, then should move the market. So have a look at that yourself. But in generally, what I wanted to discuss with you is, that the system that we are using, and this is why we are looking at cryptocurrencies, is very bad from the point of view of moving resources not in an ideal way. Okay, so employing just generally the world resources, not where they are needed, but is where the government thinks they are needed. And when you think about it, when the money really is just a tool to allow us to exchange value. We create the value through our work, and this is basically, the money is a way of doing three things, of being able to exchange this value as widely as we can, because we trade with any other country in the world. So we have to be able to take this money across space. We have to able to take this money across our value across time, in the sense that we accumulate value that we don't need today and we want to spend tomorrow. So we have to be able to spend it at a future date, but equivalent to what we have produced today. And the third thing, it needs to be easily divisible. Because let's say you have a horse, you want to exchange it because today maybe you want some vegetables, but you don't really want a warehouse full of vegetables in exchange for your horse. You just want a few vegetables that you can eat this week, and then you want to be able to spend the rest at another time. Okay, so these are the three functions really that we use money for, and that allows for more creation of value, because value is created to the division of labor. So we all do more specialized jobs that are more productive, rather than trying to do, everything we need to live on. So those are the three things that we should do with the money. And that's the thing that, two of these things are still possible. So we still use it for exchange value. We can still use it to, money is easily divisible in smaller, or it can be aggregated into big parts. But the third part, the store of value, is really not there anymore. And we see now with the high inflation, we see with the drop in value in the last 50 years, with most currencies that have lost in excess of 90% of the value over this period of time. So the interest on cryptocurrencies, especially like Bitcoin, it's really enormous, in the sense that the world has always been looking for a strong money, okay, to exchange value. And even gold, which is probably what the world has concentrated on for the past 5,000 years more and more, it's it's only limited by capacity of extracting it, because there's a lot of gold just looking in on our planet without looking elsewhere. There is a lot of gold, a lot of resources in the earth crust that we're not quite able to extract at the moment, but it is there. So in the future, gold will increase its supply because it keeps being mined. Something like Bitcoin is a fixed supply that cannot be increased. So it's kind of like it's the strongest possible money that could have been invented. Okay, and this is why it is attracting so much interest, and all the other things that we talk about every week that are important for the blockchain industry. But that's the basic concept, is that we have created really a means of exchange that has never been possible in the past, because even gold has got inflation, and cryptocurrency that's limited in number, like Bitcoin is, has even overcome the inflation connected to extracting more of of something that people value like gold. Okay, enough of the money discussion. Let's move on to some other things. Now, one thing I wanted to show you. We were talking last week about Flow, which is a layer 1 blockchain concentrated on gaming and NFTs. I mean, this is if you can see what is happening right now. Okay, this has been a big increase in price from 1.8 to 2.6, so quite significant over the past 2 days, because it's been announced that Facebook will allow flow-related NFTs on Instagram. Okay, so there has been an increase of 40% in its value. It's not just that I wanted to discuss with you. It was something else. Okay, now as you can see, if you see where we have gone since August last year, I mean, Flow was at $27, and now it went all the way down to $1.20. Okay, now is obviously it's rallied since then, it's more than doubled in value, etc., etc. But the thing that I wanted to share with you is that yes, the price has gone down, but do you think that the activity behind the scenes on the developers and what people that are working on projects in this blockchain has gone down with the price or not? And this is what we look at different metrics. We can't just look at price to decide if something is good, is investable or not. But we look at different things. I mean, if you look at this is Santiment, which is one of the places where you can get details about the developers' activity on blockchains. And this has been ordered in developer activity over the past 30 days. And here you see the projects where they have more developers working on them. So you can see these are not kind of like things that are being promoted through social media or they're being talked about, like hyped up, but these are actually physical people that are working and doing things on this blockchain. We're talking about Cardano, Ethereum, Polkadot, and Kusama is still part of Polkadot, and Flow. So this is number 1, 2, 3, 4 in developers' activity. So this is what I'm trying to say. Don't be surprised when something happens, when we have got things like this going on, and if you kind of, it's a bit more stark, even if you look at it maybe an hourly chart. Look at this. Would have been a nice thing. This is where the announcement came in. Okay, but the thing is, these announcements, these things have been a result of all the work that has gone on for all these months. It hasn't just happened. Facebook didn't just get up in the morning and decided, let's pick Flow to do the NFTs on Instagram. Okay, so these are the kind of things that really we should concentrate on, we should look on, because the things that then cause these these movements in price, because of all the good work that's going on in the background. Okay, so look at these things. Another important thing to notice is Uniswap. Again, it's something that we're talking about last week. Now, there has been a proposal to to form a Uniswap Foundation to get, to help with the governance of the protocol, and to increase support for different projects, to have full-time people. I mean, this is a completely decentralized project, okay, but has a ton of money locked into the protocol. So there's been always a lot of talk about Uniswap and what they would do with all these funds. So will they use it to develop the the ecosystem? Will they use them to give back to the token holders? So all the discussion has been and interest in Uniswap and being, okay, what are they going to do with all these funds? And people obviously are trying to, maybe there's been a lot of interest, a lot of investments in Uniswap because people wanted to get a piece of it, basically. So this is interesting because all the token holders are talking about what to do, and it seems like this is an idea that has got legs. So probably there will be the this kind of, you can see the foundation proposal. I mean, you can read about it. There's been a talk about as well about the amount of money that would be needed. About 74 million has been the proposal. That this is kind of like, in a way, it's peanuts compared to all the funds that are locked in Uniswap. Okay, so again, it's another thing that is causing a lot of attention around this token. Okay, moving on. Another interesting metric to check, especially if you have children that spend a lot of time gaming. Recently, there's been a trend of hacks on gamer accounts, for the simple reason that one is, gaming accounts are generally are spending accounts, in the sense that gamers spend money on the NFTs, on the skin for the hero or for the particular weapon and so on. But also the transactions are microtransactions that then they generally pass below the radar, so they don't attract attention, and it's easy to steal, and not just items in gaming, but also steal a game account altogether. Then can be, the hackers change the name and then sell the account on, so that gaming account holds the value of all the hours that have been spent in that game, creating that particular the strength of that account. And it's something obviously that hackers go wherever they can, to the lower hanging fruit. So if you have got kids that are playing this, for example, if you are gaming yourself and play, then spend a little bit more time on the security of your account, because it is, there is nothing more soul destroying than spending months getting your level up in a game and then see it completely disappear overnight because somebody stolen your account. And if you see that your kids are really upset and kind of like moody for days on end, this is maybe what has happened in one of their games. Okay, so moving on. Okay, now this is just again, I was talking about the rally inflow. That's why I brought that article up, but there's no point. We already talked about that. Now, this is another thing that is interesting. Also, we go back to the charts. Okay, so I'll just just go. This is just very, very quickly as a reference. So let's go to the daily chart. So again, we're going through a period where the price of and this is a bring up Bitcoin because generally it's been as a reference point for the whole of cryptocurrency. Okay, so as the value of the cryptocurrency industry, the whole market has gone down, what has happened is that the actual fundraising in crypto is actually growing. So just start, getting your mind around this concept. So although you would have thought that as prices go down, people want to get out of the market, but people with money actually investing more. And we got to the point we're now at the beginning of August, and we already surpassed the total of funding in 2021, and we got still 5 months to go. Okay, so there is a lot of money now that is coming into crypto, being invested into crypto. So here we got, for example, kind of like NFTs and gaming, centralized finance, decentralized finance. These are all areas that are seeing an inflow of investments in, and it's not any particular one blockchain or any particular one project, but generally is coming into the blockchain industry. So the industry is growing in interest, and more institutional and corporation and companies want to develop products for the blockchain industry. And so many investors obviously see the opportunity, and they are supporting these projects. Okay, so again, is another reason, the same that I was showing you with Flow. The results of this will not be seen straight away, may be seen maybe in 6 months, in a year, in 2 years' time. But obviously the investments need to happen now to then, produce results, further down the line. Okay, but the thing to note is the trend. Okay, so this fundraising is actually gathering pace rather than slowing down because of the low price. Okay. Excuse me.
So Luca, with all of the new funds that are available, is that transferring into new purchases in the market, or are they waiting until it drops even lower before they start to purchase things?
No, these are new projects, so they're not purchasing crypto directly. So it's just like somebody that wants to produce, let's say, a new decentralized exchange, and they get funding from investors to produce that product. So it's not a direct investment into crypto. That it's kind of like investing in a company, in a new company. Okay, like a new project that wants to go to the market, that gets investors to to start working on it, to employ people, etc., employ developers, and all of these projects have got costs. People that go to work every day that need to be paid, and so those are normally at the start of a project. You get the angel investors that come in with the money and start funding the development of the project.
Okay, thanks. So it's just a lot more business expected to be done in the crypto market.
Yeah, exactly that. Okay, other news, interesting as well. Also, we couldn't do one event without talking about Cardano. Obviously, there's been a lot of talk about the Cardano hard fork that's hopefully just about to happen, the Basel upgrade. But again, couple of metrics. One is this is Plutus, is the Cardano the smart contract programming language. Again, the number of scripts is growing all the time. So even with the again, the token going down in price, more scripts are happening. The other metric is the total Cardano wallets over the last month have grown by another 500,000. So they hit the metric of 3.5 million Cardano wallets, active wallets. So sorry, not in the last months, but 500,000 in the last 6 months. Despite doing all this time, the price was going down. Okay, it was gone from $3 to 40 cents. But in the same time, again, the activity on chain and the number of wallets, so number of people that get involved with Cardano, is growing all the time. And again, just bring you back to the trend. Okay, Cardano has been for a long time at the top of the developers' activity. Okay, so it's got more active, although Ethereum at the moment is a much larger ecosystem. Cardano has got more activity on the blockchain than Ethereum, and the other big project that everybody is looking at as well is Polkadot. Okay, so those are the really, really big project. You can see Cardano, Polkadot. About Flow is a much smaller project in comparison, but the other one is Cosmos as well. Cosmos, both. This has been the next big world. The next big word in crypto is interoperability, and this is where it's not by chance that both Polkadot and Cosmos, they are in that kind of market, let's call it, are at the top of developers' activity, because it's what everybody wants, to have kind of like a Wi-Fi standard that everybody can use. Okay, because at the moment it's still complicated. If you want to do, you need to do certain things. If you want to be on the Ethereum blockchain, that is a completely different setup. If you want to be on Solana or Cardano or so on. So the moment that, you know, really these Polkadot and Cosmos comes into being, there will be kind of like then an internet of blockchains. Okay, so it will be easier for users like me and you to use whatever blockchain we want to use without any extra technological problems, or having to be good with technology and finding a way through these things. It will be done on the back end, and we just basically use apps on our phone, on our computer, as we already do, but with the difference that is going to be powered by blockchain rather than a central server somewhere. So, okay, other big news again, BlackRock and Coinbase partner to extend crypto custody and trading to institutional investors. So, and this is why you might have seen the stock in Coinbase, which, by the way, has lost more than 60% from its top, has rallied recently because of this announcement. Obviously, BlackRock, you know, huge investment manager, and Coinbase obviously is being selected as the preferred partner in crypto. So it is a significant development for Coinbase, as well as for you know, BlackRock obviously can do whatever they want, but many, it's been kind of like turning fortunes in a way for Coinbase, because he was going down in people's estimations, and they were starting to worry quite a few investors. So maybe that will come down the kind of expectation of future prospects for Coinbase. Okay, moving on. There has been a accumulation, let's say, of both the two biggest stable coins, which is USDT and USDC, which doesn't go hand in hand with Bitcoin, for example. Again, the biggest crypto cryptocurrency. Now, that is saying that as recently we have seen a rally, as you can say, in the price of Bitcoin has been growing from the lows of about 18,000 to where we are now, about 23. That is saying, in a way, that investors are nervous. They don't believe in this rally. Okay, so they're not happy to put money into the market right now, but they're kind of like sitting on the sidelines, waiting for a bigger chance to buy at a low price. Okay, so this is what the accumulation of stable coins is. So people are kind of thinking, well, not quite sure what the market is going right now. I'll wait until there is a further downturn, or, you know, the uptrend is confirmed, which is not is not at the moment. Okay. So again, this is another article that brought up. You know, there's lots on the flow cryptocurrency that jumps on the, you know, jump on the announcement that Facebook will enable a flow-based NFT integration with Instagram. Okay, in over 100 countries. So, so again, this is good for two different things. Apart from the fact the news for Flow, also because, you know, Facebook is not great in the metaverse, in the crypto industry at all, but it has got, you know, really enormous amount of users. So the fact that NFTs will be available in 100 countries, that would probably be the first time that many users will come to use anything that's related to blockchain. So many people that are not in cryptocurrency or in blockchain at the moment, simply for the fact of this being available in Instagram, will start playing around with it. Okay, so it's in a way attracting new users to the ecosystem. Okay, so that's all there is to say about that. Couple more things. This is a new, this is one of the probably more listened to influencers in the Cardano world, talking about why after the Vaso hard fork is going to cause a kind of like an increase in the number of transactions in the Cardano blockchain, because basically what it will mean, at the moment transaction volumes are already at the top of the ranking, but this is without of borrowing and lending protocols, synthetics. I mean, I'm talking about derivatives and so on, stable coins, yield aggregators, world-class trading platforms, identity solution, NFT bookstores. So all these things, music streaming, these are all things that are going to be enabled by the Vaso hard fork. Okay, so and just think about it. This is not, I'm not telling you to buy Cardano to do anything else. I'm just telling you the facts and the news, and you do what you want with that kind of information. But that this is what's going on in the real world. Okay. Other couple of things, and then I'm finished. Then we'll take a few questions and have an early finish. This is really interesting, a really interesting case to understand, not just about what is happening in the energy industry, but also how stupid, and this is the other way of putting it, a lot of local what is called councils and county organizations are. Because this is a case in Colorado where there's a lot of oil wells that produce obviously mostly oil, but as a side product of the extraction, there is a lot of gas being generated. Okay, now this gas, because there are no facilities of actually packing it and sending it off, is basically burnt off at the source. They've been eliminated, so it doesn't have any use whatsoever. Okay, now many Bitcoin miners have made agreements and placed some of the Bitcoin farms with local generators next to these wells, so they could use this excess gas as a source of energy to then mine Bitcoin. So not only the Bitcoin mining wasn't adding to the let's say burning fuel, just say being bad for the environment. Not only that, but it was actually being good, because that means that there were less emissions. The gas was used instead of being burnt off, and it would have been kind of like a green result, a net green results for the environment, and so like a very, very positive outcome. Now this is started because obviously many neighbors were complaining about the noise also coming from the farms to cool down these farms. But in some local council have banned this kind of use, where in other states like in Wyoming and North Dakota, actually they've been given tax breaks to be able to do this sort of thing, because they understand that it's good for for the whole economy and also good for the environment. So the whole thing that Bitcoin is bad for the environment is a big lie, and you can see there are hundreds of cases like this where not only they're using green energy, but they are creating their own energy. They're not stealing it, they're not taking away from other users. Let's say, oh, we haven't got enough energy because the Bitcoin miners are using it. That is not true. They will never use the energy that we use because it's too expensive to mine Bitcoin. They find ways of using energies that is cheap and is easily available to them, and they place their mining farms next to these sources of energy. So they increase the productivity of the energy generation. Okay, because they use a lot of the energy that would be wasted otherwise. Okay, so that's it for that. And the last case is again, Solana, and this is what I wanted to show you, kind of like the slight difference between, maybe the Cardano that we were talking about and, Solana. And I think just go back to the developers activity. So you need to, Solana is nowhere near the top 20 in terms of developers activity. And, part of the reason why it has grown so much is because they've been really clever marketing. Okay, and even now, Sam Bankman-Fried, which is one of the main, the founder of FTX exchange, and one of the main people behind Solana, still talking about, Solana is one of the most underrated cryptocurrencies. But it is what's happened is that many people are actually losing confidence in Solana because all these things that are going on now. Lately, there have been a wallet hack on Solana that affected about 8,000 wallets and connected to a NFT marketplace called Magic Eden. Now, the point, what I'm trying to say is that these things happen because the work that projects like Cardano, like Algorand have done for the infrastructure to all the kind of make sure the security is well looked after, well considered before they release anything. And this is why, but in the case of Cardano, why the Vaso Lab fork has been delayed, because they want to make sure that there are no bugs, no ways of backdoors for hackers to get in, and make sure that the security is completely watertight. This hasn't happened with Solana. Solana has been a project that's been kind of launched even before it was ready in a way. And now these things are, they need to be sorted sooner or later. So if they don't do it at the beginning, they need to do it, later on. And it's a lot more difficult to then sort things out when you got thousands and hundreds of thousands of users. Look at how long it's taken Ethereum to go from proof of work to proof of stake. It would have been much easier to go proof of stake straight away, like Cardano has done, for example. So doing all these changes when you're already running, it's a lot more difficult. And this is what we're seeing in project like Solana, which is still a good project, but it does have a lot of things that need to be sorted out. Okay, so you either slow down at the beginning and you accelerate later, or you accelerate at the beginning and then slow down later. I mean, it's not there isn't a magic bullet to to do everything at once. Okay, so that's it for my share. And if we can take a few questions, a couple of, I really have got only for about 5 minutes, and then I have to say goodbye for today because otherwise I'll be late for my appointment. Hello. Okay. Any questions? Anybody wants to unmute themselves and ask a question?
Sorry, Luca, could you just go back to the developers activity website? Because I was just interested in it. And could you just put that in the chat? Because I'd like to use that a bit more in the future. Yeah,
it's sentiment.com. So instead of sentiment, but with an A rather than
sentiment.com. Okay, thanks. Yep.
And with an A.
How low down was Solana? Because I was looking for it earlier and I couldn't see it in the top 20. So
I don't know. That's a good question.
Or I couldn't see it on your screen.
No, so. It's not on the screen. So this if you need to go on to, I suppose, the next page. Let's see. I can't see it right now. Solana is a number 23.
23, thank you.
Okay, so kind of like it's below Algorand, by the way, as well. And it's about like one third of the activity on Cardano. So just to compare, that Cardano is the number one at the moment.
And that's in terms of developer hours that are working on projects.
Yeah, it's not kind of developer hours. You can measure that, but this is measured, I think, in GitHub commits, which is basically changes they've been posted to the blockchain. So actual pieces of code that have been posted on the blockchain. So that's how they measure it, I believe. I mean, I don't know, Jonathan, am I completely wrong about that or not? I just want to double check with you, but I think it's that's the way they measure it.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions? No? Okay, completely blindsided you.
Sorry, could I've tried sentiment.com and I get Namebright come up.
I've got, oh, sorry, it's a, okay, that's the reposted. Okay, it's sentiment.net. That's the thing.
Excellent, thank you.
Well, you can get all these for free. Also, you can sign up if you want to the paid version. There's no need, to be honest with you, at this level. Okay, all right, guys. As I said, I need to cut it short today, so I'll need to finish here. Again, I will recommend that you go and join Jonathan's sessions though, which I believe will start at 9:30 as usual. Before I turn off the video, Jonathan, if you wouldn't mind posting the link. I know most people would have it by now, but if you could post the link again, so it's easy for people to find you. Jonathan is, I mean, I'm not quite sure if he's listening right now, but Jonathan's sessions are on Discord. So if you go on Discord and look for Fluid, then Jonathan runs the Fluid stake pool on Cardano. And there's a Cardano themed session on 9:30. Okay, so I will say goodbye for now, and I'll catch up with you all next week at the usual time. Okay, so see you soon. See you soon, everyone. Have a great weekend. Okay.
Thank you.